Last week on the Bourbon Hunters, we did the last 3 Larceny Barrel Proof A series, and this week we continue on with the last 4 years of the B series, which includes the Whiskey Advocate Whiskey of the Year from 2020. Find out what we thought on this episode of the Bourbon Hunters. But before we get started, do you want to support our podcast? Do you like bourbon gear? Visit our website at www.bourbonhunters.com to buy some of our custom bourbon gear and help support the podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on our hunt for great bourbon. Reward yourself and sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. I'm Dude Poole. I'm joined by
Brett Ryan
and
JD Fridges.
And we've no Tyler.
No Tyler.
But we still got our Michigan contingents here. Part of it, anyway. All right, so last week we did the A series, the last 3 A's of the Larceny. Hey! I'm walking here. We did the A's of the Larceny Barrel Proofs, the last 3 years of them. So A124, 123, and 122. This week, I should say. Sorry. This week we stepped up our game. We're doing 4 years of Larceny Barrel Proof of the B series. What do we call it? The Killer B's.
The Killer B's.
So we got the Killer B's of Larceny here. We've got from B520 up to B523. So 21, 22, 22, and 23.
24
if you have trouble counting at home, we just counted 4.
24 has not been released.
Right. So it's the last 4 Larcenys, and one of them is Whiskey Advocate's Whiskey of the Year, and that was the B520.
It's funny because the B521 also says it won in 2020, but I don't understand how that 2021...
Well, they're just trying to get people to buy it. But the B520, which is one of the ones we're doing, it'll be the first one we do today, was Whiskey Advocate's Whiskey of the Year back in 2020. So that was about the time when Larceny started putting their shit together. It wasn't consistent. They were still hit and miss at that point. But that was about the time they started putting their shit together, getting a couple good releases out. I think they were putting all their eggs in the Old Fitz basket, maybe.
You know what's really surprising to me is that 2020 was 4 years ago. When you think of, you know what I mean?
But
like when you think about
this is 3.5 years ago because it was B5.
Yeah, I know.
20.
I'm just saying, like in general.
No,
though.
but I know when we get
we were locked down that year too.
Yeah, no, that was a very weird year.
We were probably doing a lot of drinking.
That's probably why I was able to get 2 of the B520s.
Yeah,
both the Larceny and the Elijah Craig. I have 2 of the B520s of Elijah from that year.
Those are so good.
They were.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit left in mine.
The B520s Elijah Craig's were actually really good.
Really, really good.
Yeah. So the fact that this is Whiskey Advocate's Whiskey of the Year, I don't know how much I have left of it. There's not much, actually. I've been drinking it, so I must be enjoying this as well.
We're starting with this 520?
Yeah. That's the first year of the... Oh, what did
I
you
can put
just
it back
do?
on.
They're all out. Only got diesel.
All the wrappers are getting fucked up.
Yeah, so while Brett is pouring out all of this for us... I'll pour my own, I guess. What kind of fucking service is this?
That was kind of
it's called self-service.
So
but we're doing 4 of them. I had a primer.
So, JD, I'll let you give a little bit of an intro to our primer that we had, which was the Bernheim You Do Bourbon Cask Strength, which until just recently, that was the only way you could get Bernheim at cask strength, was the You Do Bourbon.
They have recently come out with a bottle that everyone can get with Bernheim.
Now are they
it's
batching
a blend? Yes, I was going to ask. Is it a batch
or
are
they batching it like
barrel?
they do these, or is it just
I believe so.
So it's like an A, a B, and a C release?
Yes, and this one was from 2022. I bottled it on 6/11, so that would be June 11th.
Was this a single barrel or a blend?
This is
all the You Do bourbons are blends of a certain number of barrels.
I guess I thought those were
if he was taking good notes when he did it, they would have given him all that information. Of how many barrels it was and stuff like that.
I was just tasting, and that's good.
Oh, you didn't get to do You Do Bourbon with us
No, that was the year I couldn't go, and then we did it the following year with COVID Karen, and
you were there for
that was COVID Karen, and that was a very disappointing tasting.
It was okay because she was drinking Body Armor.
Yeah. But just overall, that tasting experience was...
Karen. That was great. I thought it was COVID Carol.
I don't know. Whatever.
Karen's better.
Karen works, too.
Well, they're both C's. Karen's a K.
Well, yeah. COVID Caroline. I don't know.
COVID Caroline. COVID Caroline. Do, do, do.
But yeah, they were all like underwhelming, and I remember
Yeah.
being like annoyed. I was like, I paid
bought one.
whatever for this tasting, and these all are underwhelming.
And you know what irritated me the most about the You-Do bourbon?
They had like 3 of them that
They
time
had 3.
too. Instead
They
of 4.
started with 4, and it was like $45 for the tasting, for the experience. If you bought a bottle, you still had to pay for the bottle, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But then within 6 months of starting it, it dropped down to 3 bottles that you could taste. So the tasting went from $45 for 4 bottles to, when they dropped it down to 3, they actually dropped the price down to $45 still. If you're not paying attention, they didn't change the price.
Didn't change
But they
one
changed
thing.
how many tastes you got.
And they limit 1 bottle per person.
Right. So my gripe was, if you're going to do that, then put that $45 toward the price of the bottle you pick, or drop the price, one or the other.
Agree.
Because
I agree,
that was complete BS. And I've done it 3 times when they still only had 3, in hopes that they would have 4 again. And they just again last year started doing 4 at late 2023. And they call it Heaven Hill Stock or something like that is what they put the label on there for. So
yeah, I was kind of bummed they didn't have that option when I was there either.
Yeah, the first time I went there, they had it, and that's what I got, because I was like, they told us when it was gone, and I didn't know that meant they weren't replacing it with something else.
Right.
So I was like, well, if it's gone, when it's gone, it's gone. I'm taking it. So I did, and that was the year you didn't get to go. So I got 2 that year. They let me do yours.
Oh, nice.
So because we had already paid for it.
Yeah.
And you were kind of last minute on deciding whether or not to go. I think your dog.
My
was that-
dog, yeah.
So I got an Elijah Craig that year, and I got the Heaven Hill one. So, but anyway, back to our initial.
The Bernheim Original Wheat Whiskey Barrel Proof. It's 7 years old, which with wheaters, you want it to be a little older because it takes longer for it to mature. Right. This is 125.2 proof, and I think we were all in agreement that we were getting some cocoa powder.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised because every time I've ever had a Bernheim cask strength, I've not liked it. I've thought it tasted like or smelled like wet leaves, just was funky, but not a good funky. This one was actually tasty. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I bottled that one, and my wife, who went with me, she bottled the Elijah Craig.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good, especially compared to, like I said, the previous Bernheim cask strengths I've ever tasted. I've probably done it 4 times. Didn't like any of them.
I just started nosing this B520. This is very rich. I don't know if it's because we just did the Bernheim and then coming to this, but that first waft was a very rich, like vanilla for me, like a vanilla extract. I said extract.
I get that. What is it you say that they take to make caramel? What is used to make caramel? They cook it and it becomes caramel.
I don't. Molasses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
molasses? I'm getting a little bit of
I thought that was a joke. Like, I was, like, waiting for the punchline.
No, I was being serious.
Okay.
I don't cook like that, so I don't make caramel.
Yeah, so they...
I get something, like, in between, I feel like caramel and molasses, along with that vanilla.
With rich, I think it's synonymous with decadent. I get like a decadence out of this, where it's something that has a lot of depth to it.
Yeah. And if I had to guess, that might be why this got the Whiskey Advocate Whiskey of the Year. I do remember liking this. I haven't had this in a minute because it's getting lower, but I do remember liking this one.
Just like ZZ Top, she's got legs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm sure this is going to be very viscous. You know, if you take a can of sweetened condensed milk, right, and if you fill a pot of water and put that can in there and slowly boil it, that'll turn into caramel. So.
That first drink.
Good or bad?
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, though, that I'm tasting.
I wouldn't think I was drinking Larceny.
It hit me in like 3 or 4 places that I didn't expect.
I get the top of the roof of my mouth going with it.
I did. The top of my mouth. This exploded, kind of like bread on a Friday night. This exploded all over my mouth. All over my mouth.
It's evolving. Definitely evolving as it as like the time passes.
And the heat kind of stays there for a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not unpleasant heat.
No,
for
it's
me.
just kind of, I'm here, I'm warm.
This has a candy bar taste to me. There's something almost kind of nutty in there, almost like a Snickers bar.
That's what I think.
And caramel,
like a nougat or a
maybe nougat's a better word, but it's like very candy bar like flavor to me. But something again with it has like a Snickers, it has caramel in it, or something of that nature.
Say something.
Something.
All right. I wanted to get your level up a little higher. You were a little quiet. I noticed that last week too, actually. This is interesting. This is, I think, complex. I heard one of you two said that. I think that's a good word for this.
Depth.
And there's some depth. This is one of those ones I always talk about how I could sit with a bottle for an evening and just keep drinking from that same bottle and not trying different things. When it has that complexity, that depth to it, I feel like that's something I generally really look for in a bourbon, is something that, it hits you on that first drink, but then as you drink it throughout the night, it evolves and it continues surprising you. And I tell you, like, honestly, in my opinion, and I don't know that I've ever said this specifically before, in my opinion, I don't mind paying extra for a bourbon if that's what you get. Like, I know that, yes, you can get ancient aged 10-star, and it tastes a lot like Blanton's. Great. But here's the thing. You sit with ancient aged 10-star for an evening, and it starts to fall flat.
Mm-hmm. Third sip for me.
Yeah, there's no depth.
Yeah.
There's no... And it's, like you said, it might not even be the second pour. It might be the first pour, third sip. It just starts to get a little flat. Mm-hmm. Blanton's... There are some times when it can kind of, and they're single barrels, so you might get a different experience. But I've had some blends that actually you could sit with throughout the night and keep drinking. And I wouldn't say it has the depth of this, but it might have, a little bit, because like a good Blanton's is a vanilla bomb. Mm-hmm. Vanilla bomb. But it's a rich vanilla. And there's no way to explain it except for that vanilla, that depth, that richness, whatever you want to call it. You can keep drinking it, and it doesn't ever fall flat.
It's like the difference of like French vanilla to vanilla bean.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah,
but you can keep at it, and it never falls flat when you get a good bottle. I want to make sure that that's clear. But my point is with something like this. This is a $70 bottle generally, right? I think it was probably $59 or something back in 20.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is amazing.
It's really good.
So paying $60, this is the same price back then as Blanton's, right? And you're getting a really rich, really deep flavor profile that just isn't going to stop throughout the night. And I don't mind paying that difference.
I get a cracked black pepper on it too.
Which is interesting for a weeder.
Yeah. Right.
I get no pepper whatsoever.
I don't know.
Take a little sip, like a really little bit.
I did take it because I don't have much left, and there's not much left in the bottle. But I'll tell you, the second sip I took was much sweeter. Kind of what I would expect a weeder to taste like, which is what this is.
Yes.
I don't know if that's proof that kind of comes off like black pepper. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I do.
Did anyone else's second sip taste a little sweeter, like a little?
It's very confection, very sugar forward.
Good word.
Yeah,
that's a good word.
That's why I was like, it's like a candy bar to me.
I like how I tell you good word, like I've never heard that word before in my life. We use it all the time. I just didn't think of it. So I'm giving you props. Good, I appreciate that. Good recall.
Like I have so many bottles at home, and very few will I sit down, pour a glass, and then want to go back and re-pour it again.
Usually
and this is one of those. This is one of those where I want to go back and re-pour it because my fourth sip, every sip is different.
Hey, you know my rules. If you feel like having another pour, have another pour. That's how I roll.
I appreciate that invitation. I'll save it for a weekend.
Me bourbon, es su bourbon. Well, this weekend is going to be one of those times. I think we're probably going to snuggle up to a nice movie that Tyler hasn't seen yet.
God, you'll watch him giggle like a little
schoolgirl,
dude.
Is it old classic?
Hilarious.
Well, we watched Airplane together.
So funny.
And
he had never seen it.
He had never seen it. And we're sitting there watching the movie, enjoying it, but we're also watching him react to never seeing the movie before. And it was so
His reactions were almost funnier than the movie.
Are we watching Animal House?
I love Animal House.
Love Animal House.
We could. Yeah. I'm sure.
Or Porky's or something like that. Those
Porky's
are hysterical.
Do you know my Porky story?
No.
Okay. So this is a great. Before we go to the next, the B521, this will give you a couple minutes to finish your pour. So my grandmother and grandfather,
and I know.
On my dad's side, they had my dad, that was their oldest son, and then they had my aunt, Tanya, who lives up at the time lived up in Baltimore. They now live like near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I think.
Oh, cool.
But she lived in Baltimore at the time. And they had 3 kids. My dad had 3 kids. And so we were all close in age. Like my cousin that was close in my age, I was like 2 years older than him. But I was the youngest in my family by 5 years. So there was a nice little jump there. But my sister and the middle sibling on their side were about the same age, and my brother and the oldest sibling on the other side were about the same age. And so we would go up there all the time, and we would spend time. They lived in Westminster, Maryland. They lived in Baltimore, a few different places, and we would go visit them at least once a year for a long weekend. There were a few times when they lived in Baltimore that I would go up with my grandparents and stay with them. My parents would stay behind. One of those trips was like 1980. I was like 5 years old, and the movie Porky's was in the theaters. My brother, who's 7 years older than me, so 12 or 13 at the time, something like that, is along with his cousin of the same age, Andrea, were convincing my grandparents, and I don't know where their mom and dad were at the time, but my grandparents were the ones there. They were the ones watching us all. They convinced my grandmother to take us to see Porky's. They had her convinced that it was a Porky Pig movie.
Oh, no.
So think about this. We've got a couple of 12 or 13-year-olds, a couple of 10-year-olds or 11-year-olds, and then a 5-year-old all going to a movie called Porky's. So think about this. My grandmother, who's doing this, is like, she's 4'11", walking up to the ticket, because you had to go buy the tickets in person back then. They didn't have computers and all that stuff. So walking up to the ticket booth, ordering 5-6 tickets with her. So an adult and 5 children's worth of tickets to Porky's.
Are you sure, sir or ma'am?
Right.
So I'm not old enough to recollect this part of it, of like the reaction. Like I'd love to be a fly on the wall, go back in time and see how that ticket person reacted to this.
Yeah.
So she walks us in, we go sit down, and about 10 minutes into the movie, she realizes she did something wrong.
That's all, folks.
She's too embarrassed at this point to get up and leave. So we watched the entire movie.
That's amazing.
I'm 5 years old. So if you know my sense of humor, this is where it came from. Is seeing Porky's at like 5 or 6 years old.
I totally understand.
So
there was a distinct mole on that penis.
Tallywhacker.
She called it Tallywhacker? Oh, you're right. Yeah.
What do we have
I'd
here?
recognize that Tallywhacker anywhere.
They try to get a sketch artist to come in.
Oh, and you know the guy, did you ever watch Ally McBeal?
No.
So Ally McBeal he was a short, kind of curly, kind of like your hair, kind of curly, wavy-ish guy who was one of the lawyers in the firm. He was from Porky's.
Oh, wow.
He had a big career, but he was in Porky's, and like every time I'd see Ally, I was like, that guy was from Porky's, and he's doing this serious role in a drama, whatever, weekday drama show. But anyway, so my grandmother took me to see Porky's when I was 5 years old. That's my story.
So funny.
And so like whenever it would come on like the movie channels, like in like I'm 8 years old, my parents would be like, you're not allowed to. I'm like, I've already seen it. So I had the argument. I'm like, I've already seen the movie. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Third option for a movie for Tyler, PCU.
Oh,
Forgotten
PCU
Film.
is
a great one.
No, it is amazing. And I had,
underrated movie.
We should
that's
watch
not
PCU.
Like
So
well
hold on.
known as well known.
I will watch PCU, no problem. Mm-hmm. So, PCU's not available on any streaming service.
Really?
Nope.
I can download it for you.
I've got it already.
Okay.
It's in distribution hell.
Why?
I have no idea. So PCU stands for Port Chester University. However, it also stands for politically correct university. So one of the best things about that movie is Jeremy Piven, who was Ari Goldman or whatever on Entourage, and Jon Favreau is Gutter. He's Gutter, and then the kid from great outdoors, who is trying to date the Canadian girl, the son of John Candy, the oldest son of John Candy, is the Prefrosh coming into campus.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And then there's just other people in the movie. The mom from Arrested Development, and also the voice of the owner of the agency in Archer is the president of the university. There's so many people in this movie. David Spade's in the movie.
I'm looking at the cast now.
It is such an amazing
George
cast.
Clinton.
George Clinton makes a guest appearance and just as himself and plays at their little party, their campus party. So the movie's great. If you've never seen PCU, what's amazing about it is I think it came out in like 1992.
94. I just looked.
Okay, so I was close. I was right.
I wouldn't have known if I'm not looking. So
it came out in 1994, and it was so forward-looking. I swear to God that it is still relevant to this day.
Absolutely.
Because of the political correct movement, it is still relevant to this day. And it was way ahead of its time. At its time, no one watched that movie or enjoyed it as much as like some of us did, because it just wasn't ready. It was so ahead of its time.
It takes a certain individual to truly appreciate the comedy that's within it.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved every bit of that freaking movie.
All three of those films I named are very similar in comedy.
Yeah. PCU is a little more in your face, but subtle at the same time. Mm-hmm. It had a lot of subtle jokes to it. And Jeremy Piven was great.
Underrated actor.
Oh, so underrated. He's amazing as Ari Gold in Entourage.
Yes.
That's where he probably is most well known now. But I swear to you, PCU is a great movie. He's also in, what's the salesman movie that he does? It's like The Goods or something, or I don't remember what it is.
I don't know if I know that one.
Wasn't he the star in I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell, the film that they did?
I read the book, but I didn't see
one of the Entourage guys was in that.
Maybe. It might have been Rabbit. Not Rabbit. Who's the one that was the career, or the monogamous with the girl he was dating the entire time? Erie? What was it? No. The baby face looking guy. Not the one who ended up fighting the UFC girl. What was her name? That got her ass kicked finally when she started doing
Ronda
movies.
Rousey?
Yeah, Ronda
Rousey.
So he dated Ronda Rousey, I think, in an episode or in the movie, maybe. The Entourage movie.
Animal House is a classic for me, by the way. I watched that in high school.
House is great.
One of my teachers was a huge fan of Animal House, so we would watch it. Like when you had home football games, you had time to kill before the game started, right? And so you wouldn't do like warm-ups, or we should probably be watching game film, but we were a little small, shitty school. So we would watch like clips of old movies that he put together, and Animal House and Porky's, and all of those were part of them. So those were some of my first exposure.
Police Academy, all that
stuff.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I love that.
Oh, dude, the sound effects guy.
Yeah. And you know that guy?
Naked Gun.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen.
Naked Gun 2.5.
Fucking O.J. Simpson's in it.
Right?
So Naked Gun 2.5 or 33 1/3. One or the other has. One of them is like a terrible, terrible plot. Not that they were all good plots, but one of them was a terrible plot, but it had the best one-liners in all of them.
All of Leslie Nielsen's one-liners.
No. There was like, for example, one of them had two great one-liners. I can tell you right now. One of them was like a blind man in an orgy. I'm going to have to feel my way around.
Yeah.
The other one was like a midget at a urinal. I was going to have to stay on my toes.
Yeah, I remember
that. Was the other one. But he had so many of those in the movie, and none of the other movies had those types of one-liners in it, like those simile whatever, one-liners. Oh, they were so funny.
Mahoney.
Oh, Police Academy.
So to the 521.
Matt Zuckery was the actor.
Matt Zuckery.
For who?
Tucker Max in that
movie. Yeah. I was going to say he had nothing to do with that movie you were originally saying he had something to do with. So this is B521. This is Lorenzo's contribution to the show.
Thank you, Lorenzo. He did ask if he could try a sample of the 24.
Of the
from last week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. So remind me and I'll pour it into a sample bottle.
I will say the nose experience is not as pleasant as the previous nose experience.
Would you say it's assaulting your nostrils?
It's not insulting.
Assaulting.
It's assaulting. No,
assaulting.
It's not assaulting either. Not insulting or assaulting.
Well,
it's just not as
we killed
pleasant.
10 minutes in between B520 and B521 just talking about movies and other stuff.
Oh, I
Easy to
love
do.
those old.
We could go 20 minutes. I'm sure.
PCU. I think PCU is what we try to watch this weekend.
I would love to.
I've got it. I've got
PCU.
it as an MP4 on my computer. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get it up onto the screen. We'll have to watch it.
Is that different from MP3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, MP4 is the video version of MP3. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say the video version, but it's similar. Yes.
Because there's MP4 like audio files too.
Yeah, but it's all about codecs and how they're. It's. I'm not going to turn nerdery into this. Brett already does that enough on medical stuff. I get a bubble gum on this.
Is that why the nose experience isn't as pleasant for me?
Probably. It's not like heavily.
It's not as
gum,
rich.
But it's,
you know what I mean?
No, it's that dumb sugary coated gum.
Yeah, the confectioner gum.
Yeah,
yeah. That's why. I didn't pick that out, but that's probably why. Like I initially was like,
I would say this doesn't taste. Doesn't smell as rich as the last
No, it's
one.
not as decadent for sure.
No, it's not as like rich is a great word. It's not as rich or the depth like you had said earlier.
Tongue coating's not as good either.
I took a tiny sip and it's bubble gum.
It's a little thinner. Yeah, it's bubble gum. It's a little thinner on the tongue. It's not bad. It's still got it still has a tongue coating, but it's not nearly as.
What's the proof on this?
Oh yeah, we haven't announced
121.
That. What was the B520? What was the
122.2 repeating.
I don't think there was
with a
repeating.
numeral.
It's got to be repeating.
It doesn't have to be shit.
Gotta be.
It could be 0.24, and they just rounded down to 2.
122 point pi.
Point pi.
Who said pie? Coconut custard?
So have you seen all right, earmuffs for anybody under age. Did you see the meme about when you come in 3.14 seconds, it's a cream pie?
Nice. That's funny.
No.
I'm like, that is great.
Those are the jokes I need to know. I had a dad joke.
So that you can tell your wife after 3.14 seconds.
Yes.
I just gave
Happy
you a
Pie
cream
Day.
pie.
World record.
Yes, because it was 2.5 before.
No, like I have dumb jokes. Like we were doing education at our clubhouse from Harrell's and Bayer. These are all chemical companies and reps that come and talk to us about new and upcoming, things that they're coming out with.
Grass lines.
What?
Grass lines.
Grass lines are always important on
Like
a golf
a California
course.
Sensimilla or something like that.
Yeah, we call it modeling. But
You know what I was talking about there, don't
the
you?
grass lines?
No, the California Sensimilla. Caddyshack?
Caddyshack's another classic.
Is that the spackler grass type?
It's been a while since I've
it's when
seen
he's- it's
Caddyshack.
when
though.
he's in his
In his little house, and
yeah.
then Chevy Chase walks in.
Yeah, he's like, it's a mix between a California Sensimilla and a Kentucky Bluegrass. The nice thing about this is you can play 18 holes and then get stoned to the bejesus belt.
Chevy Chase is like, "You live here?"
He's like, you have a pool, right? He's like, yeah, I've got a pond and a pool. Pond would be good for you. Pond would be good for you. I love that. It's just
Great
like,
movie.
oh God, that's
another great
classic,
one.
It
timeless.
is. So you know what the best movie about caddies is of all time?
Happy Gilmore. I'm kidding.
Caddyshack. You know what the worst movie of all time is about caddies?
Tin Cup.
Caddyshack 2.
Yeah.
That's a movie. Right?
It's true.
Or actually, I think that might be an ESPN commercial where they were saying that.
So I was sitting at the table, and our regional director for Arcus, he's like, the Seals at the zoo picked the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. And I wasn't really listening to the conversation much, but I heard it and I picked it up. And I turned and I just said, where'd they get their information? Otterbein? He said otters, not seals, but otters. And I said, Otterbein? I'm like, I'm a retard.
I mean,
I was just checking the specs on the inline for the rotary girder.
I appreciated the
I'm
joke.
retarded.
My boss goes, there it is.
I like a good pun.
No, that's a good one. Even
good
if
pun.
it's seals or otters, it's still funny.
Yeah. Well, because
They're
the otters
they're
could have
close-
told the seals.
Yeah,
They're close enough related that you know.
Superintendent from Signature up in Cleveland turns, he goes, are you a dad? And my boss goes, oh, yeah. He answered for me.
That's great. But you know what? They're going to remember you now.
Yeah, absolutely memorable moment.
Yeah.
Kind of like the people down in
Bardstown?
No, I was going to say Georgia. Remember you shitting your pants? Was it
Yeah.
Louisiana? Alabama.
Alabama.
Nice.
Shit in your
Where
pants.
I hid my uniform shorts in the hamper and went commando.
Someone got it.
And somebody, yeah, but there's a code, on the tag, so I only hid it from so many people.
So, what do we think of this B521?
Kind of underwhelming after 5
Yeah.
We
Agreed.
should have probably finished. We should have gone in reverse order, knowing the B520 was Whiskey Advocate's Whiskey of the Year of 2020.
Yeah, but still, I think it's best to go in chronological order.
So for me, why this isn't as good as B520? The depth isn't there. The tongue coating is not there. It's thinner on the tongue.
Everything,
The
the
nose is a
nose,
little
the tongue,
less- it's a little muted.
It
Yeah.
could have just been the year of 2020 because Elijah Craig 520 was outstanding.
You know what? But so many people don't give that B520 its credit.
Outside of pirate bottles, that's my favorite one.
I think it's honestly.
The C923 is up there too.
So here's
Oh my God, I know. I haven't cracked mine yet because I'm afraid once I crack it, it'll go quick.
right. I've got two of them.
Nice.
There is no micro batching.
There is, but it's not that big a difference. It doesn't have that
One day.
It doesn't have that big of an effect. You've got some douchebag talking about it. It's fine. Whatever. Everything's fine.
I changed my YouTube user handle from that.
So I know I saw that. So here's the thing. What were we talking about?
B521 being underwhelming, COVID.
2020 Elijah Craig.
Oh, the
B520.
Elijah Craig B520. So I know there are a lot of people out there that just don't like the B releases of Elijah Craig.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
But I will tell you this right now, B520, so when we ordered Tyler's 18-year Elijah Craig, I ordered it from Sip Whiskey or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And it came in a collection.
Yeah, like a set.
Yeah, so it had a single barrel regular Elijah Craig, not barrel strength. This was before barrel strength. Elijah Craig.
Those single barrels, non-barrel strength, are amazing too. By the way,
agreed, 100%.
I have some bourbon.
I just
enthusiast
opened one
ones.
of mine from 2020.
Elijah
Yeah.
Craig.
Underrated.
Elijah Craig as a shelfer is underrated.
Absolutely.
But then Elijah Craig single barrels that were the 94 proof at Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
So the Elijah Craig 94 proof single barrels,
Underrated.
There were some outstanding ones. I've got a few of those. A couple from Bourbon Enthusiast.
I was getting ready to say the same
Oh
thing.
my gosh!
I have one
I've
that's
got
just
one
like
from
a
Prime Barrel that
got
was
a little-
amazing.
Mine's from Liquor Barn.
Oh
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I've had a few of those and I've still got them in there. They're just so
Nice.
good. And then they started doing the barrel strength ones for personal picks or whatever.
I've got a few of those too.
Now, so the little trick I found was when you ordered the Elijah Craig 18, to get it, you had to, if it was in the store by itself, it was sold out. But if you bought it in this pack, it was like a standard Elijah Craig, which I'm fine with, because that's good. You could give it as a gift or you can drink it, whatever. Mix it with drinks. And then it came with an Elijah Craig barrel pick of 94 proof. Then it came with a B520 Elijah Craig
What
barrel
a
strength.
package.
Yeah.
Then, that's what my
18
wife
year.
always says to me.
Hey-o.
And then it came with the 18 year. So you got 4 bottles.
It's like $500,
It was $500.
Worth it.
but you get 4
But-
bottles out of it.
I ordered it twice. Once for Tyler, once for myself. And that's how I got the 2 B520s.
Nice.
And I think I actually had a third B520 that I got in a store here. But holy shit, the B520,
And those
is
original
underrated.
shelfers, those 94 proof shelfers, are they used to be 12 years old.
yeah.
They're still
I
like
think
8.
They're still up there.
Yeah.
No, I think they're still 12. They just aren't. I think they stopped age stating them on the off chance that they had to batch it down with something lower. But I'm.
Kind of like Eagle Rare moving it to the back of the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they removed it altogether for a while. And now it's back to the front of the bottle.
Yep.
Anyway, so B521 were less
Yeah, a little
Less
lackluster.
impressed.
impressed. Still good, though. I don't mind it.
Have you guys had anything?
I'm getting a little bit of cherry and bubblegum on that last
I do
drink.
get the bubble gum.
It's a lot of bubble gum for me, and
Yeah,
I
you
think
don't
that's
like
why I
bubble
don't
gum.
like it.
Yeah.
I will say, though, the Larceny Shelfer, not a fan.
Larceny Shelfer. So real quick, back to clubs and barrel picks and stuff like that. I don't know that Larceny does the barrel proof club selections like Elijah Craig yet. I don't think they do. If they do, it's new. But Bourbon Enthusiast, I have a barrel pick at the regular shelfer proof. It's outstanding.
Really?
It's really good. But I agree with you. I think Larceny off the shelf is just okay.
Yeah.
I prefer Maker's Mark.
I'm with you.
Just standard Maker's Mark. I actually prefer that over Larceny. Shelfer standard.
Yeah. So now
proof.
barrel proof Larceny to the Private Select Wood Series makers.
Completely different, because that's like a finished. I know it's still technically bourbon because it's still, but it's almost like a finished bourbon. It's so different, and there's so many combinations, and they've got it down almost to a science now, to where they know how many staves of what to, and you can, if you've ever been part of the barrel selection or Private Select. If you've ever been part of that process, which I got to do that with Bourbon Enthusiast last year, it was like in March of last year. Flying Buckeye went down with me, and we did a Maker's Mark pick with Bourbon Enthusiast.
Those grounds are so pretty.
Yeah. For one, that's like one of the best places to ever go for a tour.
It's the oldest campus, I think, in Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think Bourbon or Buffalo Trace is older than that for sure. 100%. But it might be the oldest gift shop or, open to the public type of campus. That may be true. But Buffalo Trace has been around since before Maker's Mark was even a brand, before they even settled. Like, Maker's Mark started in the 1900s. Buffalo Trace was around before that. Their campus was there way before
We had their
that.
campus. It wasn't Buffalo Trace at the time, right?
Well, I mean, but it's what Buffalo Trace is today.
Right.
Buffalo Trace wasn't called Buffalo Trace until the 90s, I don't think, or 80s maybe. But it was, whatever they called it before that, the Stag Distillery or I don't know, whatever it was called before that. Who was, what's the bourbon that Buffalo Trace puts out that is 100 proof that everyone goes nuts for?
BH Taylor.
No.
Rock Hill Farm.
No. The one that Jeff always says he doesn't like because it's sour mash. He didn't realize all about.
Oh, Elmer
T. Lee.
Elmer T. Lee was, I think, wasn't he a named person of the distillery as well at one point? I don't know. I'd have to look.
Not a fan of that.
I was not
hate
prepared
that.
for this. I was not prepared for this.
Went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, what were we talking about before that?
Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark campus is amazing. So if you go there, they've got it down to a science to the point where they've got these carafes of different 10 stave finishes. So like if you know anything about Maker's Mark Private Select, it's a collection of 10 staves. So 2 of 1, 3 of 1, 4, and you get to choose 4 different staves and whatever combination of those 4 staves you want. And there's tons and tons and tons of choices you can come up with. But anyway,
I'd like to point out how oily my hands are.
the way they do this,
See my glasses?
the way they do it is
Wow.
each carafe
It's like a fogger in there.
Each carafe, Jesus. Each carafe has is basically 10 staves finished in that particular stave. So you end up with like 10 French oaks, 10 46s, 10 whatever, and then you combine them in the percentages that you want, whatever. So you go through and they give you these tokens.
There's 10 different staves, right? Or
no.
I'm trying to think it'd be like 10 to the 10th power of how many options there are.
There's not 10 staves. There's like 5 maybe. I have,
so it'd be like 10 to the 5th power
I
of
have
like
the
options,
thing.
maybe?
I'd have to look.
So 1 stave equals 2.
What?
Because it equals 10 on the front of a Maker's bottle.
But you could have 10 of one stave.
Yes, you could.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can have so many combinations. That's why
I'm
if
like,
there's
what the
5 different types of staves, it would have to be like 10 to the 5th power of like
hold on.
options.
Before we get onto this, start talking about this.
I just brought Tyler to the show.
All right, let's go back to Larceny. This isn't a Maker's episode.
I'm going to look up the Maker's stuff while you're talking about this. So just go into the nose of this.
Guaranteed, back in high school, this is what my car windows look like.
Because you were.
Oh my God, so fogged up.
I'm just an oily motherfucker, man. Like
you are an oily motherfucker. That is true. Everything you say is true. You are an oily motherfucker.
Now this nose is more fruity and delicate.
Ooh, fruit.
Do you get fruit? Fruit.
Fruit.
But seriously though, I feel like this is like a more delicate, like floral, fruity nose. Do you get that, or am I crazy?
No, definitely.
So they have 5 staves you can choose from.
Strawberry?
What is this? Did anyone talk about this yet?
So
it's B522, right?
This is B522. It's 123.8 proof. I don't have any other stats for it.
Good talk. So there's 5 staves at Maker's Mark that you can choose from.
And they always put 10 staves per barrel.
10 staves in a barrel, yes.
So that should be like 10 to the 5th power of options.
You're drunk. Anyway, no, you're... Are you drunk?
No, I wish.
Okay.
The nose on this is so unique.
Yeah, there's something sweet but airy.
It's very, like I said, delicate's the best word I can think of
delicate.
right now.
I was thinking airy, but delicate.
Yeah, it's like a floral, fruity, like a little strawberry, but a delicate nose for me. Just like I'm a delicate nose too.
So you know the Jim Beam VIP experience we had where they gave us those pool. So they gave us
lanyards?
the lanyards.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that pool lanyard thingy and attach it to my new security badge.
Nice.
That works.
So I can,
Nice.
You know what I want to have happen sometime in the next couple years?
Threesome.
Yes.
Right.
Devil's threesome.
Saturday.
Devil's threesome. Bring your wife. Tyler will be here.
Tyler. Oh, Eiffel Tower.
I don't know what that means. I just know what the Devil's threesome is.
A tour at Joseph Magnus and a picture.
Where is Joseph Magnus? I don't even know.
Holland, Michigan.
Okay.
Joseph Magnus
I
is
didn't
in
know
Michigan?
that either.
Yeah. They used to be in D.C. and they moved.
Really?
Now they're out over by Lake
I
Michigan.
had no idea that they were in Michigan. That's hilarious.
A picture of the people's schnoz in a glass with the nose Fraley in a glass.
We can make it happen.
Over Lake Michigan.
We can make
With
it
Lake
happen.
Michigan in the backdrop.
Yes.
We can make it happen.
We need Nancy the nose with the people's schnoz.
Who's got the better nose? No,
I mean, obviously
I don't
her.
mean like functionally. I mean, who's got the better looking nose?
I mean, mine's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing. I'm not going to say that I keep this pillow on my lap because of your nose, but I'm not going to say that I don't either.
You make a really good silhouette.
Oh, well, thank you. I do go to Michigan every year usually,
You make
too.
a really good silhouette. That's good stuff. That's funny.
It's the eclipse.
Total eclipse of the nose.
Ooh, good song.
All right. This is very delicate.
It is delicate
airy.
fruits.
Yeah.
Raspberry. I think it's raspberry.
I had a little strawberry, but I'll take delicate fruit if you guys agree with me.
It's not.
It's pleasing on the palate.
It is. It's a little sweet.
It's not appetizing.
It's
but
got
like
a little
Dove
bit of a
soap.
finish too. Dove soap.
A little Dove soap.
It floats. You just throw it in the.
Yeah.
Or Irish Spring. Smell it.
It's just like Irish Spring soap, 100%.
I saw a comedian talking about Irish Spring soap, and he's like, you know what the thing about Irish Spring soap is that pisses me off? He's like, it makes you assume that Irish people smell good. He's like, we don't know if they smell good or not. He's like, but we're taking it on their word that Irish people smell good.
All they eat's potatoes.
I feel like Irish Spring is a very like old man smell.
Do you remember Shield?
No.
I don't know if I remember Shield or not.
There were 2 green bars of soap.
Okay, then I don't.
Irish Spring was one, Shield was the other.
My dad always used Irish Spring, and that's why I like associate it with like the older generation.
Trina hates Irish Spring because of that, for that exact reason.
Because it reminds her of her dad?
No, it reminds her of this old, it's like an old smell.
It is. Yeah, it's an old smell.
But I grew up using Irish Spring.
I did too. My dad used it
nonstop.
Yeah.
My grandpa had the spray aerosol stuff.
Axe.
No. No, he wasn't an Axe guy. It was like a different company, older company.
So do you remember the Friends episode where Chandler and Joey were talking about showering, basically, and they were talking about how the bar of soap's clean, and he's like, what's the last thing you clean? And then what's the first thing you clean?
Yeah, like your balls and your face. Yeah.
Balls and ass.
Yeah.
And then your face is the first thing you
Yeah.
clean. And so he was like immediately like, Because they were talking about using the bar soap directly against
Does
the
Joey
body
get the big eyes?
Well, that's like the towel paradox, right?
Well, no,
like,
I think Joey was the one who explained it to him. He's like, to Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry's like, oh shit, Can you believe Matthew Perry's dead?
I know.
That's crazy.
Did a lot of booger sugar.
He did do a lot of booger sugar. I've never heard that phrase before, but I enjoy it.
Based on the Friends season
weight.
of his weight fluctuations when he was hooked on the shit and when he wasn't.
Courtney
When he
Cox was
wasn't,
affiliated with it too.
Was she really?
What, she was into that stuff? I didn't know that.
A lot of times that gets
Are
people
you
later in life
slandering,
too.
or do you know this? Like, how do you know this?
No, it had come out when she was with David Arquette.
Oh, really? Well, David Arquette, I think, was a fucking cokehead. Yeah. That guy was fucking crazy. Is she not with him anymore?
No, they've been separated for a long time.
Have they?
She's from Alabama, I think. Or
Is
Georgia.
she from Alabama? I didn't know that.
Oh, that explains
Birmingham.
why she likes sleeping with her brother.
Yeah. They redid that,
what?
like this. Remember the Scary Movie from the '90s, or not? It was Scream. I'm
Scream.
sorry, not
Scream.
Scary Movie. That was the parody of it. But they redid a couple Screams the last couple
No, they
years.
didn't redo them. That's continuations.
Well,
Because she's in them.
but it's kind of
and
like
a
an
continuation.
homage to the original in a way.
But
too.
they didn't redo them. It's
Agree.
a continuation of the story. It's like
Agree.
Scream 5, Scream 6.
Because it goes, it's like start talking about like the dad of the original person or something like that.
They're not remakes or reboots.
You're right. It
at
is.
all.
It's a continuation
It's
of the
100%
storyline.
Sequels.
But she looks bad in those.
Yes,
like
her face. She's
plastic
been,
surgery.
Yes.
Oh, it's
She
so
didn't
bad.
age like Rachel.
No, Rachel gets prettier the older she gets.
Jennifer Aniston. You're talking about.
Yes.
Correct.
Her
Yeah.
name's not Rachel.
Yeah. She's like Benjamin Button.
But how the fuck does she look better now than she did in her first
I don't know.
episode
She's
of
Benjamin
Friends?
Button, man.
Benjamin Button of women.
So I phrased
wife's
this
the
question:
Benjamin Button
is
of
there a
women.
cast member from Friends you think that would have survived without or replaced?
Say that again?
Do you think there's a cast member where the show would have lasted as long as it did and survived without them?
Phoebe.
Yeah, Phoebe was
100%
probably the
Phoebe
least.
is the only one.
The
only
contributed the least amount.
And it was stupid. It was like Woody Harrelson and Coach from
She was like a supporting. Cheers.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah.
Coach died. They replaced him with Woody Harrelson, and the show continued on. That dumb humor, anyone can do that. And here's the funny thing about Phoebe.
She was so much older than everyone else.
Lisa Kudrow was actually a research something in like biology or something.
Super smart.
Very smart. Very smart.
And she played a dumb,
And
like
she
a
played,
ditzy.
and that's the kind of funny
Didn't
thing
she
about
do
it.
Romeo and Michelle?
She did.
Too?
Yeah.
Like really dumb roles.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Mira Sorvino.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she got pigeonholed. That's why. And then she did that psychiatry or psychology show where it was like all over the web, like a Zoom type psychiatry, and she was really good in that. So that being said, did you guys know the story about Woody Harrelson? So Woody Harrelson,
His dad was a fucking hitman. I can tell you
Yes.
that, like a
And so-
legit hitman.
so seriously legit hitman.
Yeah.
And he got convicted of murder. And Woody Harrelson, to try to help build his defense, went and became an actor to raise money for lawyers that would help get him out of jail.
Is Natural Born Killers about his dad?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So Cheers is where he got his break. And he did that solely for the purpose of trying to get his dad defense out of prison. But it turns out that I'm pretty sure his dad was actually guilty.
Yeah, no, I think it like confirmed his dad was like a legit hitman.
How many kills?
Yeah, no, 100%.
I have no idea.
100% he was a hitman for sure. And that's not in question anymore. But Woody Harrelson, his entree into acting was because of that.
That's awesome.
And so,
Great.
you know what's interesting is, did you know Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, supposedly there is a slight chance that they have the same father.
And they are both in True Detective.
Yes.
McConaughey is a member of my fraternity, not my local chapter, but
Yeah.
the same like
Line.
national.
So there was a time they were talking about stuff, and they think that Woody Harrelson's mom potentially,
So they're half brothers, you think?
yes,
Okay.
like there's a very, very 50-50 or better chance
I mean,
that
with
they're
DNA
actually half
testing, why
brothers.
not just figure it
Yeah.
out?
I know, that's what I thought too. But I think they're enjoying the fact that they know that they could possibly be brothers, but they don't want to know. They don't want to know the truth.
Hank Williams III. There's a chance that Merle Haggard is his dad.
No shit.
That's not a real thing.
That is a real thing. It's a real rumor.
Nah, that's cool. So what are we on right now? We're on 22, right?
We're on 22.
What do we think of 22?
I enjoy it better than 21.
21.
Agree, but I still like 20 the best.
20 so far has been
so
my favorite.
I'm very intrigued to see what 23
brings to the table.
I've had 23. I haven't opened one.
I can't believe I had B523 unopened as well.
Mine's open.
What do you remember about 23?
I remember that it stands up with 123 and C923.
Really?
It's up there with those.
So C923, I'm sorry.
Really good.
Elijah Craig, not Larceny.
But we did Larceny A124.
And it was,
I still kept 923 as my favorite over the 24.
The Elijah Craig?
No, the Larceny.
I think I like the 20. I think I like the 24 better than the 23.
You guys, all three of you, like the A124.
That's what I thought.
I was the only one that liked 923. Mm-hmm.
We're spending too much time
we
together.
We didn't do 923 last week. Did we?
Yes.
As a bonus?
Yes.
Larceny, though, not Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
No, we brought it out because we had an extra glass.
Oh,
exactly.
We did C.
Yeah, C923.
Yeah, you're right.
As a bonus to the A
because
line.
I received C923 and A124 in a single shipment.
Yeah.
It was a package deal that...
And we'll be doing it again
Sip Whiskey
next
was
week.
Doing. Sip Whiskey was doing that same... They were doing a package of
this nose gets better.
A124 and C923.
It does. It sits in the glass.
Yeah, the nose is
the nose on 20 was the best for me.
Everything on 20 so far has been the best. Yeah. The mouth experience,
the nose experience.
Completely understand why it was whiskey of the year.
There was no assaulting, not insulting, but assaulting of my nostrils. It was.
Did you just assault my nostrils?
This one gets in there just enough.
Yeah, this is good.
That's why it's delicate.
No, it is very delicate. You're right.
It's like Tyler. It's delicate.
It's like a soft pick of the nose.
We have to be very careful when Tyler's around.
It's like when you pick with your pinky and not your finger.
And you've already trimmed your fingernails.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all finger. It's no nail.
Delicate.
It's no nail.
No nail. Just the smoothness of the outer shell.
Right. Yeah. Because that's a whole different thing. You're mining when you have a fingernail.
Oh yeah.
You're mining.
And flicking.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. You got to flick.
I mean, sure.
I hope you're flicking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some people
save it for later.
Some people wipe it on the tissue.
I've seen some people eat.
You mean Jim Harbaugh?
In the office, ever watch people?
Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah.
Yes,
we both said the same thing.
He's like
Jim Harbaugh.
He gone.
Hey, that's probably why his immune system is as strong as it is.
They do say it helps with your immune system.
Well, only if they're wet. No, seriously. I'm 100%. I'm being 100% honest.
Dry or no good.
The study was specifically about wet boogers versus dry boogers.
If something's already in your nose, it should be like affecting your immune system, though.
You would think.
Like that's how you get sick, right? Is by like touching your face and your nose and introducing
things. Are trying to get out of your body.
Yeah, that's why we sneeze.
Right,
reasons.
But that's why you're like honestly, your snot and stuff like you blow it out because it shouldn't be in your body.
Yes,
and putting it back into your body, if your immune system's strong enough, probably does build some immune.
Figure into it.
Brett is like
as soon as you said blowing things out of your body, I'm like I can't do this.
I like to know the speed.
Tyler's wife knows all about all of us blowing things out of our body. She is very receptive to those things.
So B523.
Yeah, we have D.
Not there yet.
We have
not. I know we're not there yet. So what have you guys been drinking? Like, have you been? I know we're obviously sampling Larceny, but have you been sampling anything at home that's been extraordinary or anything that's like noteworthy?
You know what? I've been trying to kill my single barrel shelfer of Old Forest, or not. Sorry, Four Roses.
Okay. I actually have been my OESO. I've been hitting hard.
Shelfer, so it's
shelfer 100 proof. Yep.
Yeah, but my barrel
because
strength.
I've got one coming.
Yep.
I've actually got in the mail right now. I've got an Old Forester barrel strength coming.
I don't love those, man. I wish I loved.
I have one you'd love.
Really?
What?
I like
the
Old Forester at 100 proof.
No. Did I say Old Forester?
Yeah.
I'm at Four Roses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes.
But I think it's going with an Old Forester barrel strength. Let me look at my order.
So I have a Warehouse K Floor 5, and it's a strawberry bomb. So good.
Really?
Yes.
A lot of my Old Forester experiences.
I gave Jason C. a sample of it.
Oh, nice. the hundreds seem to be like right where it's at with Old Forester, and then some of the
Where
barrel
it's at?
strengths where it's at.
2 turntables with
and a microphone.
No. So I ordered 4 Roses OESV private select single barrel strength.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
How old?
I don't know.
Oh.
And I'll tell you how old this next one is. Wild Turkey.
Ooh, I'm excited.
12-year-old 101 proof.
Ooh.
They had it at $20 off.
What?
I got it for $164.99. I asked Jason, I was like, hey, what's a good price for this? He said, anything under $200.
Nice.
And I'm like, so 165 is good? And he's like, hell yeah, $164.99.
Very nice.
Where'd you order that from?
Sip Whiskey. Sip Whiskey.
I've never been on there.
Sip
I've
Whiskey's
ordered
good.
stuff there.
Okay, I order off Sealbach a lot.
Yeah.
Sealbach's good, but they're usually more
Craft.
craft. Yeah, I would say that. But they've expanded since they originally started. But he's the original guy from Reddit. You know Blake?
Yeah.
He's the Blake guy.
Now it's Take, right?
Whatever.
Whatever his name is.
It's like /R
Bourbon or
yeah,
R Bourbon.
Bourbon R, whatever. Yeah, but he's the guy that was the original big man on Reddit.
He gets some good stuff.
No, he's got a pretty good palate.
I have a Nulu toasted barrel from Sealbach, single barrel, and it's phenomenal.
I've been drinking a Nulu myself.
Nice.
Very good.
I enjoy Nulu. I don't drink it as much as I should. I've got a honey barrel Nulu.
Oh, that's that one Jason left, right? That thing's amazing.
It is good, and I need to drink it more often.
I tried my 1915 for the first time.
Did you?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Lorenzo brought one back, and it actually has like a neck tag that says like 115 on it.
Have you seen mine?
Uh-uh.
You haven't seen the
who
one I
made the
made?
1915 that Lorenzo has? Did he make it? Or?
No, buddy from Kentucky.
Okay.
You saw mine that has a whole label that says Hyman style.
No.
I bought the one off of you.
Yeah,
that he
you did, yeah.
Because he had, obviously, it made 2 bottles, right? Because he took 2 to make
Yes.
it. And so I was like, let me buy one of those off of you.
I'm sure some of them are different from the old label to new label and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
You should. I've got one sitting back there.
It's funny.
Hyman. I made the label and all that stuff. It
Yeah.
says Hyman style. It's
That's
funny.
awesome.
All right,
Oh,
so
am I too fast?
No, you're
Okay.
good. I'm done with mine. This one right here is the B521. I didn't.
I'm
finish
getting like the real Hyman pour, the first one out of this, and that one a little heavier than I thought. But it's fine, whatever. I love the first pours, like glug, 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 glug.
The
right?
B521's actually better now that I had the B522.
The B521.
I didn't say
Was the one that we all
Oh, that was
liked
the,
the least.
Yeah, that's the bubblegum one.
All right.
Don't disappoint me, 23.
Come on, 23.
I'm telling you, this one's good.
The nose isn't where I want it to be. I think the nose was just so rich on 20.
Yeah, the nose on 20 fucked us for the rest of the day.
Yeah, true.
Give it a good SJ.
Yeah, I'm getting nothing on the nose.
Like
literally nothing.
I was hoping that wasn't just me. I was kind of waiting to hear from you two.
There's some underlying sweetness, but it's very, very, very,
Very faint.
very subtle.
It's just a
and faint.
mute note. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
muted. There's nothing good or bad. There's no...
Honestly, I think we blew our wad with B520.
As dumb as it sounds, even though B522 was like a delicate nose, I enjoyed it. I really did. It was like
B520
it was like a fruit
wasn't
smoothie.
delicate. Remember, that was the one
No,
we said was
22.
like so rich.
No, I'm saying 22 that we just did.
22.
I
thought you
enjoyed
said 20.
no,
Sorry.
the B522. I actually enjoyed that like soft
I did
nose
too.
on it. It was
I did too.
It was
still
different.
prevalent, though.
Yeah,
it was still prevalent,
Yeah.
but it was soft.
It was pleasant.
It was pleasant. Yeah, it was soft and pleasant and
Just
delicate.
like JD. He's pleasant. He's soft. We like him.
Very soft. Until he's sleeping and he's loud.
Yeah.
He's sawing logs.
Sound like a Chevy Chevelle.
Chevy show.
Oh, with glass packs. And a shifter kit. Stuck in second gear.
I do got to
Great
say,
knob. Great knob.
that was probably. I don't know if it was the best bourbon trip that we've done for me.
It was.
It's only going to get
You had a bed.
Yeah, so that was probably the best, as I had a bed for the first time. So
you have
it
a
was
couch
the best.
from-
Listen,
Prior?
the very first. Well, I should say this.
The first one I slept on that air mattress in Louisville.
That was just an October trip to try to get the.
I guess that was still my first like bourbon.
But our first
trip.
bourbon trip was Jeff with you.
Yes.
So in Bardstown, you slept in a recliner lounge.
I did. Yeah, I slept in a recliner.
So that was the first one you went on. Was he slept in a recliner?
My back feels it.
Yeah.
And I slept in a fucking king size bed. I was living like a king.
Dude, you should have totally spooned, dude.
Oh, I would have been up for it. Especially after that night. That night we were so drunk.
Yeah,
Strawberry shortcake.
Remember we. Hey, who was the guy from Project Lift that we called? Lives in Seattle now.
Andy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We called him, and we had him on phone
telling stories
about waking up to transvestite like people giving oral sex on the side of the road when he was going into his gym at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, it was.
This was
believe it or not, that gives me flashbacks of Alabama when I was
when you were giving the oral sex.
I had this Vietnamese kid that was working for me.
He was giving.
His name is he doesn't listen. His name is Volition.
That's a cool name.
It's a cool name. Until he starts talking about trap girls and asking, "Are you going to go find some trap girls?"
What's a trap girl?
His definition was very different from mine. Trap girl, in my definition, would be like one of them.
They get you pregnant. You get them pregnant, and they trap you.
It's a
they follow all the
like a
rappers
girl in the club
and the
and
club.
stuff, yeah.
Trap
See,
girl.
I would think a trap girl is a girl that lets you get them pregnant and then makes you
different
marry
kind of trap girl, but
so
those exist.
His version of trap girl was a girl that you're dancing with, and then a schlong falls out.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay,
what?
Tomato.
And that went on for months. Like, you gonna find some trap girls? I'm like, no.
Is that what he was into?
Apparently.
Okay.
Must be.
I mean, hey, different strokes
for different folks.
Absolutely.
Whatever. I'm not going to judge. I don't care what your sexual preference is. I do not care. I really don't. If it gets you off as a man to be dancing with a woman and find out she has a schlong, then have fun with it. I don't care. Doesn't bother me.
Russell Peters does a good bit about schlong. He goes, a white man came up with that name. And he's like, I have a schlort.
Listen, so what was it? So when I was working it was probably Starback. It might have been Accordant way back in the day. There was a guy named Shane Long. And the company used the first two initials and the last name for their email address. So his name was Schlong on email. And I could never forget it. His name was Shane Long, and his email was schlong at whatever.
That's awesome.
And it was sh.long, but still was schlong at whatever it was.
Hey, I'm emailed schlong.
Like, honest to God, he knew it too, and he was just like, why? Why? He's like, I've heard of first initial last name, but I guess they had a lot of people with the same last name and the same first initial, so they did the first two initials.
So there was one like
first
that.
2 letters.
It went viral. It's been several years ago, but the girl was Megan Finger. And they did last name and then first two, and it was Finger Me. That's what it was. And she was like, fucking kill me. My university email address is Finger Me. But yeah, she was Megan Finger.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's remarkable.
Oh my God, that's amazing. But I thought schlong was good, but Finger Me, that's even better. All right, so we're on B523.
Yeah. Nose is better
We've
now.
nosed it.
Nose is better now.
Is it? It's still a little muted.
It's still a little muted, but it's better after I've had a taste.
I get a little hey.
Hey!
Hey.
A little trap girl.
Yeah.
Hey!
Oh. Look for the Adam's apple.
Yeah.
Hey!
Hey, oh, I'm out of here.
Hey.
All right.
So, well,
I do get strawberry shortcake, the shortcake.
Man, I don't know if I have just like sensory overload.
This is thin on the mouth experience. I know it's a Hyman pour. I'm tasting the ethanol. I'm tasting the proof, which we didn't announce. This one is B523, 124.4 proof. So it's up there, 62.2%.
I think a lot
alcohol
would be better.
These were all
I get the sweetness. It's almost like an artificial sweetness, though.
But it's also, are you getting a strong ethanol finish?
Yeah.
I am too.
It's lingering in the
Hit me
throat.
with one drop on that.
It's lingering in the throat.
Brett's doing a drop of water on this.
I should have just dumped the whole thing in there.
And then I'm going to see what this does.
Yeah.
This
I was going to do I was going to do one and then do a second drop.
To me, and this is always a good exercise, I feel like if something tastes hot, put a little drop of water in it. But what bugs me about that is someone had to approve this.
Right.
And say, this is perfect how it is.
This is going to sell.
Without changing it down to like 123 proof or something like that. And a lot of times when we do this, we add a drop of water and it amazingly opens up, tastes better, smells better, everything is better. And I'm just like, well, wait a second.
We did it last week to one of them.
Yeah, we did. And it was better.
All right. I'm not going to be the one to say it.
No, you are, because you're about to say it.
The mouth experience got better?
With a little bit of water.
Which makes no sense.
I'm getting a butterscotch.
100% agree with you.
Right?
100% agree with you.
The
mouth experience got better. Butterscotch is right.
What the
Both of you are correct. This is much better with a drop of water.
Why?
It hasn't oxidized yet. We just opened it. It's a Hyman pour. We visit this
but when you're tasting
2 weeks, it might taste better. And
it got so much better.
I never understand that either. I never understand that.
That's really good.
Why is it more viscous with a drop of water?
That part doesn't make sense.
No.
Is it like that for you too?
It shouldn't be that way.
It's still in there. It like coated it better.
Yeah, it did. It shouldn't be that way. A drop of water should make it less viscous.
So
that's why I'm like, I don't understand.
For our listeners, add a drop of water to your B523.
Well,
honestly, to a lot of things, just try it.
Especially on a Hyman pour.
Yes.
Add 1 drop, add 2 drop. You know what I mean? Like
well,
just kind of.
And we weren't scientifically having the exact same amount of bourbon in each glass. So
I love butterscotch too.
Yeah,
same, dude. That's my wheelhouse. Like butterscotch.
I like it in bourbon.
That's my favorite whiskey.
Oh yeah, same.
I like it in bourbon. I'm not sure that I like it in like other stuff.
No, I don't eat like.
So I love grapes. So I like a lot of wine finish too.
Oh, I like some wine
finishes. I love grape.
Did you get the old Carter? I'm sorry, the Carter finished Bardstown.
Yes.
Have you opened it?
Oh yeah.
I haven't yet.
If you guys come over, we can open it.
You've had it at my house, I thought.
No, I've only had it at.
We opened it here. Were you
no,
not here?
I wasn't here when you opened the.
You got one too?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
We all got one.
So
we all got one.
It was
I had
so
it
good.
when we were at Old Carter.
We can't hang out at Old Carter.
No.
Have such an experience that we had, then immediately go to Bardstown
when he brought it out
Company.
too, so we could try it there.
I know.
I really want that batch 11 rye.
I would take anything.
Or batch 12.
I have not had anything bad. Old Carter.
Hanging out with him, going to immediately to Bardstown Bourbon Company and not buy it. We all
so
bought it.
we need to go to my house on a weekend, Saturday sometime. Walk 2 doors down. Lorenzo's got 15 Old Carters.
I think what I want to do.
He's got a Pappy 15 right now too.
Damn.
Does it? That's the best one.
I think I want to buy.
That is the best one.
He's going to unload it.
No,
he's 1,300 into it.
Jesus.
No. Come on. Lorenzo. Listen to me right now.
He's got 1,300 invested in it. I don't blame him. Unload it.
No.
He's trying to get 15 or 16 out of it.
I don't blame him.
Come on, Lorenzo. Listen. Here's what you do. You have JD living next to you. You know Tyler now. You know me. You know Brett.
Well, he doesn't know me, but through association.
If you listen to the podcast, you know Brett. Here's what I suggest. So you have $1,300 into this Pappy 15 at this point. There's 24 ounces in a bottle of bourbon. Divide it by 6 of us. $1,300 divided by 6. What is that? Do the math. $200 a piece.
$215.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $215 a pour. Never mind. Sell it. Sell it.
Not a
sell
pour.
It,
it's not a pour.
It would.
Well, so it would equate to. So there were 6 of us. You said.
Yeah.
So there's 25, a little more than 25 ounces in a bottle.
So you get like 4 ounces, 4.5 ounces.
So that's 2 pours. So that's $100 a pour. That's
still not.
Sell it. Sell it.
Unload it. 1,600.
Yeah. Sell it.
And you know what? Here's the thing.
He also just recently got this year's Thomas H. Handy. He's keeping.
So he got a handy.
Yeah, he got a handy.
Did see what you did there.
I offered.
You offered a handy for a handy.
A handy for a handy. It's only fair.
It is fair.
And he got this year's GTS. But he might be
nice.
unloading that one too.
Fucking fuck. How did he get this year's GTS? What does this fucking guy do?
We'll talk offline.
No, I want to
Kidding.
talk.
I don't even know.
He has a lot of connections in Kentucky. He used to live down there.
All right. That's
So
fair.
his wife her parents are down there, always going back and forth.
What city? Just because I used to live in Kentucky is why I asked. I don't care.
Near E-Town.
Oh, yeah, Elizabethtown. Yeah. There
So
was a
his
movie
stops-
about Ebethtown.
Oh, really?
Yep.
His
That came out
his
when I was in
stops
college.
are
What's the movie?
Jono's.
I'd have to Google it. I just remember it being a big deal because it was like a
Was it a documentary? Or
no,
a
it was
real
just a movie that kind of like was about like life in Ebethtown.
You know what Elizabethtown was for me in the last 30 years,
No clue.
20 years?
Not a clue.
Baseball.
Oh,
It's a huge,
is it really?
huge baseball stop for travel baseball teams.
So it's like a mecca.
It is. It is 100% a mecca.
Cooperstown would be the other one.
Elizabeth? No.
No,
Not-
not compared.
No. Elizabethtown is bigger for travel baseball.
Okay,
Elizabethtown is huge.
I played Cooperstown.
Travel baseball. It's Elizabethtown. It's Alabama, and it's like Florida and Myrtle Beach.
Alabama.
Yes, there's a huge facility in Alabama, Orange Beach.
Oh yeah, down south.
There's a huge facility there. There's another one in Myrtle Beach. There's another one in Florida somewhere. That's where travel baseball. That's where if you're in real travel baseball, that's where you go.
It's literally called Elizabethtown. Sorry, 2005.
Elizabethtown is a humongous travel baseball for the Midwest. It is a huge location.
Awesome.
They host tons of. I don't know. I don't remember all the what are the when it's letters? What does that mean? Anagrams? No.
And anagrams where you like
No.
reword
It's
and
not
make
anagram.
different
What
words
is
out
what
of
is it
letters.
when it's like USSSA?
Analogy?
No. Analogy.
Euphemism.
No. I'm not analogy.
You're all
A
wrong. Anyway,
yeah.
all of the baseball, whatever that is, word lettersmiths have their tournaments there.
If you're a team worth having a team, you're playing there.
You're traveling. If you're in the Midwest and it's not Alabama or Myrtle Beach or whatever, you're playing there.
We went to Puerto Rico when I was young. We got killed.
Oh yeah, of
I
course.
bet.
Did. Of course you did.
I wanted to see some birth certificates.
Fair enough. That is a fair response.
Jose Valverde up there
All right.
against us.
So we've got B523. What do we think?
I think it got better with a little water.
It did, but it's third place for me.
Yeah.
How would you rate it?
So
I'm with Brett.
520.
Do we all agree 520 is number
520
one?
tops.
Yep. Then I go 522.
Yep.
Then I go 523.
Yep.
And then 521.
Yep.
I think
Consensus?
this is unheard of, but I think I agree 100%.
I think it's a
with you.
consensus.
Yeah. It's a quorum, if you will.
A quorum. Good word.
I Married an Axe Murderer. Have you seen it?
Yeah, love it.
That is another one of those movies. That was Mike Myers before he got big-headed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That is, in my opinion, his best movie. Mike Myers.
That's a bold statement.
No, it's not. What's
The
better?
Austin Powers are
No,
classic.
Definitely not Love Guru. We can say that's the
yeah.
worst one.
Austin Powers, trust me, those are good. But Goldfinger, the accent and the he uses is from.
So I Married an Axe.
So
Oh,
I
yeah, it
Married
is.
an Axe-
Absolutely.
The Scottish.
Yeah,
accent
it is.
For Goldfinger. That is 100% from So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah.
How many
I won't deny that.
Are there any more one-liners in any Mike Myers movie more than So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Do I make you Randy?
That's one. I can name 20 from So I Married an Axe Murderer. The very first scene of So I Married an Axe Murderer.
You're right.
They're walking
you're
out
right.
with this fucking
agreed.
huge cup of cappuccino.
It's like
and they're
Step
walking
Brothers.
through this.
I can name 20 one-liners from Step Brothers.
But they're walking through it. The very opening scene of So I Married an Axe Murderer. They're walking through with this huge. The waitress. It's from her perspective, walking through with this humongous fucking bowl-shaped cup of cappuccino, and he delivers it to Mike Myers, and he's like, excuse me, I ordered the large cappuccino, and the thing's fucking huge. And he's like, I think you made a mistake here. I ordered the large cappuccino, and it's fucking huge. Like, that's his subtle humor.
Yeah.
And then later on in the movie, there's other things too, but like the whole head thing. The guy, the kid
she
with
cries
the
herself to sleep on her huge pillow or whatever.
Move that melon of yours and get the paper if you can. How am I gargantuan cranium about? I'm not kidding. Like, it's like an orange on a
like
toothpick.
Groundskeeper Willie.
It's like
Oh my God!
it's like an orange
Willie.
on a toothpick. Heed, move.
Acronym is the word we were looking for. Earlier.
Acronym.
Thank you.
I just needed to not think about it.
Yeah.
I literally said that word in a meeting or whatever talking to you
Yeah.
today, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
God
yeah.
damn it!
Move that melon of yours and get the paper if you can.
But
yeah.
you're right. Like, I can name 20 one-liners
And that's Fat Bastard,
from
too.
Step Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like an orange on a toothpick.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then he makes some reference to Sputnik in there somewhere. And like,
Sputnik.
there's like 4 things just about the fucking kid's head that are just hilarious. And then there's the whole subtle things, like when he's walking around and he's with Nancy Travis and he's like, you know what this place really needs? And there's a huge poster behind him of Atlantic City. And he's like, you know what this place really needs? And he's facing away from it, so you don't know that he's already seen it. He's like, it's an oversized poster of Atlantic City. And behind him is an oversized poster of Atlantic City. It's humongous. And he's like playing it off like, you know what this place really needs? It's perfect, but it needs something that it already has behind its head.
That is definitely Mike Myers.
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like the movie is amazing. If you've never seen So I Married an Axe Murderer, it is so funny.
You know what popped in my head when you said that movie?
And it's pre Mike Myers getting a big
yes,
head.
it is.
Because he is now one of those guys that is black labeled in Hollywood because he became a prima donna. He got so big for his britches, which is unfortunate because he was so funny.
Remember when he was on TV with Kanye West?
Oh yeah,
No.
it was
I
a
never saw
telethon.
And
It was
Kanye
super
West,
awkward.
out of like left field, says George Bush does not care about black people.
It
And
was
Mike
Hurricane
Myers
Katrina. It was the Hurricane Katrina fundraiser.
No, I never saw that.
Oh my
yeah,
god!
it's a telethon for Hurricane Katrina.
So what happened?
He basically
Mike didn't know what to say.
he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
he just like
he looked at Kanye and he was like,
he's like donate your money. George Bush doesn't like black people. He's like, the white people are saving themselves. The black people are looting. And Mike Myers is just like, the number is, and
never-
like, he's
it's
so uncomfortable.
yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable.
it does watching him.
He's so
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
I've never seen
Oh
it.
my god,
It's uncomfortable.
it's uncomfortable to watch because Mike Myers is so uncomfortable.
And this
and
is
it's
back in,
very-
like 2000.
Hurricane Katrina.
Yes.
Whenever Hurricane Katrina happened,
2004? No.
I don't remember Katrina.
2007? 2006. I know Brylan was born the year that Hurricane Katrina happened.
You said it happened twice.
My wife
Happened.
My wife's name is Katrina. And the joke in our house is she is Hurricane Katrina. Whenever she does anything, it's like a fucking hurricane hit. So we call her Hurricane Katrina. It's pretty funny. But the year Hurricane Katrina hit, we were there, I'm pretty sure, for Mardi Gras that year. And Hurricane Katrina happened in like September.
And
I
the
believe.
Saints won the Super Bowl year after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like we were there in February for Mardi Gras, and my buddy from England, Simon, came and joined us, and we partied like crazy. I puked with my pants around my ankles. A whole nother story. We stayed in an old brothel that got converted into a hotel. And I just remember waking up one morning on that trip with my pants around my ankles, puke in the toilet, and I'm still laying at the base of the toilet. And that's how good of a night we had. It was It was such a fun night. But later that evening, later that year, Hurricane Katrina hit. And it was the year that we were just there. And it was like, holy shit. Hurricane Katrina hit twice. That was our joke. Because Trina's...
Right.
Yeah. So
this may sound outlandish. Should we compare C923 to this batch, since we did it last week?
2005. What happened? Sorry, I just looked.
Thank you. My son was born in 2004, so that makes sense.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Because we bought him this like outfit from
New Orleans,
and then brought it back, and he was like about a year old about the time it. Yeah. So that makes sense. So it happened in 2005.
Yeah, August 2005. It says.
So we might have gone in February of 2005.
Okay. Yeah,
I think
that'd be Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Fat Tuesday.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Let's wrap this up. We're hour 20 minutes in. Excuse me. B520. We're in a consensus. We all agree.
Yeah, agree.
B520, Whiskey Advocates Whiskey of the Year.
Rightfully so.
I mean, we don't know what else came that year. I don't
Valid.
remember. But of this group, 100% it still holds up. So join us next week as we talk about the C series of Larceny Barrel Proofs. We will be without Brett, but we'll be with Tyler.
Hey, you know what? We'll see you then.
We will we will see you later. But we'll be doing three of those, not four, right?
Unless I can get one.
What do we have? 23, 22, 21. If you can get the C20 somehow.
I'm sure I can pull his teeth.
I'll see what I have. I think
he has every
mine's
single
22 or
one that's been out.
Nice.
Well, if you can get the C20, I'd like to do 4 again. Because Saturday, we're going to record this. We're going to drink. We're going to watch a fucking PCU or some sort of movie that Tyler will have never seen.
See you next Tuesday.
Yes. All right. So let's wrap this up, and we'll see you next week. And I think this is a pretty good little series.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've enjoyed Larceny.
We did A, we've done B, we've got C next week. All right, tune in next week to see what you think of the final Larceny series.
Thank you for joining us on yet another hunt for great bourbon. Please give us a 5-star review anywhere you are listening. But if you can't, leave some constructive criticism in the review so that we can get better at improving our show. Good reviews help us bring better guests on for your listening pleasure, not mine. But until then, sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy some bourbon.